Yeah, that's right. Knockout punch sounds good to me, but you know what sounds better? Little Aikido move. So we don't punch back at all. We just move a little bit out of the way, and then Big Pharma tumbles off the edge, and that's how we're going to do it. We're not going to fight them. We're going to teach people how to get so healthy that they can ignore them. We're doing an end around the pharmaceutical industry by teaching people how to optimize their health with medical nutrition, which beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. All right. I think Madrew from Washington is back with Keith. Let's give it another try. Hey, Madrew, what's up?
Hey, Dr. Glidden, I have Keith on the line. Keith?
Yes.
Go ahead.
That's okay here. Can you hear me?
All right, Keith, that's a million times better. Yes, sir. How can I help? Thanks for calling in.
I am, I'll be 50 on Sunday. Was just diagnosed with pancreatitis. I have low back pain that nobody can figure out why I have low back pain, ingrowing pain. And I'm just trying to figure out how I can get out of being in pain.
Yeah, isn't that something? I mean, that's something, right? How old are you, Keith?
I'm 50 on Sunday. I'm diabetic. And I'm type 2 diabetic.
Okay, how old are you?
He'll be 50 Sunday.
50 Sunday. Well, happy birthday in advance. That's really great. But, I mean, isn't this something, right? So you pay medical insurance premiums your entire life just in case something bad happens so that then you gain access to the MDs without going bankrupt. And so you go to the MDs, you're in massive amounts of pain, you've been paying them insurance premiums your entire life, and then they can't do anything for you. They say, well, we don't know what it is. Go away. We have no idea what's causing this pain. Just go away. Don't bother us anymore. And it's nonsense. This is what everybody in this country does all of the time, and yet we kind of psychologically are inclined to give the MDs a pass. Oh, the doctors couldn't figure it out. They did the best that they could. Well, guess what? They failed you, and if I were you, I'd get my money back from the insurance company. I'd say, look, I've been paying you good hard-earned money my whole life so that I can use the MDs, and then I finally needed to use them, and they let me down. I want my darn money back. That's what I would do. Pancreatitis, most of the time, Keith, is caused by, it's kind of like if you're, what's a good metaphor? If the power steering in your car, there's a little fluid that goes in there that makes the power steering work. If the power steering fluid leaked out, there was a little leak in the hose, and the power steering fluid leaked out, you wouldn't be able to turn the wheel anymore. Now, and there's nothing wrong with the wheel. There's nothing wrong with the steering wheel. You lost the fluid that made it possible to turn the wheel for the pump to work. So when your pancreas runs out of nutrients, it makes it very, very hard to work, and you get inflammation happening in the pancreas. The main nutrient that the pancreas needs in order to function optimally is selenium. Selenium, the trace mineral selenium. But because the pancreas is connected to the stomach, is connected to the intestinal tract, is connected to the liver, is connected to the heart, is connected to the kidneys, everything in the body is connected. So even when we're up against a problem with one part of the body, we give to the body everything that the body needs in addition to a little bit of extra stuff, in this case for the pancreas. So the recommendation here to support and promote your body's ability to fix itself, kind of to put the oil back, or the power steering fluid, so to speak, back in the car and fix the leak, the recommendation would be 1 anti-aging healthy start pack and 2 selenium. 1 anti-aging healthy start pack and 2 selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. You need to take those supplements every day for 90 days. Plus, you need to stop eating food that's going to hurt the pancreas. You got to stop eating food that's causing low-grade inflammation. I mean, if you had a cut in your hand, you wouldn't squeeze lemon juice in it, because if you did that, it would sting like a son of a gun. Well, there are certain foods which, if you eat them, will cause inflammation in the pancreas and other parts of the body as well. So it's like our recommendation is like Muhammad Ali's rope-a-dope. Like, it's kind of like it's a two-pronged attack. Number one, you got to stop eating food that's hurting the pancreas, and number two, you got to put the nutrients back in the body that gives the body a chance to fix the pancreas. And, you know, when we do this correctly, your pain melts away like ice in the springtime. So Madru knows the foods that you need to stop eating, and she can also get the nutritional supplements for you at the wholesale price, which is not a bad idea. My recommendation to you, Keith, is to take the nutritional supplements every day and keep a running log of how you're doing every day. And once you start to gain momentum, once just one little thing starts to improve, oh, my pain's a little better, I'm sleeping through the night, my appetite's better, my digestion's better, my mood's better, whatever it is that brightens up, once you secure some positive change, you just hold on for dear life and continue to ride this horse. 90 days, 3 months is well inside of the range here that you should experience a positive turnaround. But you have to do both things. If you just take the supplements, man, but you don't stop eating the food, the bad food, then you're spitting into the wind, and it's not going to work. You got to do both. But when you do both, you're going to feel a lot better, and life is good. And you want to, thank Madru for taking a stand for your health when conventional medicine let you down. And this is what we do. This is how we move through the world. We've taken stands for complete strangers in our lives. We've taken stands for people who are not in our immediate family. We've taken stands to show people that, guess what, there is a different way to recover your health than the MD way. And this is what Madru is up to. This is why we love her so much. This is what Longevity Nation is all about. People helping people to recover their health with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Go out there and get them, Keith. Clean your diet up and give your pancreas the nutrients it needs to fix itself. Call me back in about 3 weeks for the report. I'd love to hear how it's going.
Okay.
What about the diabetes?
Well, type 1 or type 2?
Type 2.
All right, so add to that program 1 bottle of Sweeties per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of Sweeties per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and life is good. Now, you gotta, when you start to take the Sweeties, you have to be measuring your blood sugars like your life depends on it every day, because within a short amount of time, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, your blood sugars are going to start to drop. And once your blood sugars start to drop, you're going to have to rearrange how much medication you take. You're going to have to, take less. And either the doctor already told you how to do that, or they gave you metformin or glipizide or glucoside or something that you just take automatically. Once your blood sugars start to reduce, you have to go back to a pharmacist and say, hey man, my sugars are a lot less now. How much of this drug do I need to take? And what we recommend is you keep doing that. You just keep reducing your medications with supervision until you're so healthy and your blood sugar is so good that you don't need it anymore. And that's how we do it, one step at a time. All right, guys, the lines are full. I got to go to the next person. Keith, thanks for the call. Thanks for the trust. Try this program on for size. You're not going to be disappointed. And call me back in about 3 weeks with a report. Thanks, Madru. Keep up the good work. You are the best. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to overlook the obvious. How many people have called up this show with chronic health conditions that the MDs have completely let them down? Everybody. How many people do you know in your life that have a chronic health condition that the MDs have let people down with, haven't been able to fix? How many people do you know that are taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 different prescription medications? How many people? It's everybody. It's everybody over 40, for goodness sake. A lot of people in their 30s are starting to take meds now. The MDs are pushing meds on kids now. You want to be horrified? Go to your local public school at lunch. Just go to your local public school at lunch. They'll let you in. You have to show them an ID. They put a little badge around your neck. And just sit on a seat outside the nurse's office at lunch and look to see how many kids line up to take their ADD meds. You will be horrified. It's the dirty little secret of the educational system in this country that nobody wants to talk about. The MDs are throwing their crap at our kids. And the mothers and the parents don't know any better. They want to do what's best for their kid. They think that the MD knows what's best for their kid, and the MD doesn't. Oh, by the way, it may interest you to know that the research that kicked off the whole Ritalin, the use of Ritalin for attention deficit disorder, you know, Ritalin, right? It's the ADD drug of choice. The research that kicked that off was falsified. And the doctor that published the false research, he cooked the books. He made it up. He made it up. The results that he said he got, he didn't get. He made it up. He actually went to jail. He was sanctioned. They did slap his wrists, but the horse was out of the barn, and the MDs continue to roll out Ritalin, even though the research that showed that it was a good thing to use was completely erroneous and false. And I'm the quack. You imagine what would happen if a naturopath did that? Are you kidding me? We live in a land of hurt, ladies and gentlemen, and the world of hurt is pressed upon every day by the pharmaceutical industry, and it is, what's the word I'm looking for? The pharmaceutical industry is building a fortune on the back of your pain and suffering. They have taken advantage of your lack of education and your pain and fear and suffering. That's how they pitch you their nonsense. Remember, every once in a while they get it right? Thank God for Novocaine. Thank God for penicillin. Thank God for morphine and the sterile technique. But Ritalin for ADD? You've got to be kidding me. Let's take it back, ladies and gentlemen. Take back your health. You're not a longevity member yet. What are you waiting for? The sky's to open up. FireYourMDNow.com. Join the revolution. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Going to go to Florida and talk to Dawn when we come back. Stick around. Friday, November 22nd, 2013. Let's go back to Florida, see what's shaking with Dawn. Hey, Dawn, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I have 3 questions, so I'll make it quick. The first one, a friend of mine started the products, and she loves it. And she's been getting a lot of compliments on her skin, and she's lost a lot of weight. She looks great. The only problem is, and she's on the old BTT, the older version, she's been getting yeast infections. And she swears that her diet hasn't changed at all, and the only difference is the BTT in her diet.
Wow, that's interesting. I've never heard that before. Well, vaginal yeast infections or yeast infections anywhere in the body are caused by an overabundance of sugar in the body at any moment in time. So you want to ask her, well, there's a couple of ways to do this, right? She can order her own lab work. Do you know you can order your own lab work? You don't even need an MD. I'm writing a new book, and part of the book I've got a bunch of chapters that tell people what lab tests to order, when, and at what age, and how to interpret the results, because it's really very, very, very easy to figure it out. And especially from the nutritional point of view, you can gain a lot of information from blood work that the MDs are completely blind to. So it's possible that the 90 essential nutrients have cleared the fog in her body, so to speak, and have uncovered a blood sugar issue. She has a blood sugar issue, but she doesn't know that she has a blood sugar issue, and the action of the 90 essential nutrients has made that more predominant. And it's a curious little phenomenon as to how that works, but it works. It happens frequently. People will start the Healthy Start Pack. They have a number of complaints. They're overweight and they can't sleep through the night, or they've got bad energy, or whatever, and they take the stuff and they lose weight and their energy comes back and they're feeling pretty great. But then all of a sudden, this other thing pops up. And it was always kind of sort of there in the background, but wasn't able to completely express itself because the body was so just sluggish because of its undernutrification. That's kind of a difficult concept to wrap your head around, but it's possible here. It's possible. So I would have her go to the website MD Lab Tests, that's plural, TESTS, MDLabtests.com, and order for herself a hemoglobin A1C test, hemoglobin A1C. That's A, then the number 1 dash C like Charlie, hemoglobin A1C. That's a pretty cool website, and I don't get any kickback from it at all. Maybe I should. But when you go to the website, you can order whatever test you want. You pay for it online, and then they print out a little voucher. You type in your zip code, and it tells you what lab to go to have the test. And so you show up at the lab, you give them the voucher, they draw the blood or whatever they need. And then they send you the results. How about that? So the hemoglobin A1C test is the first go-to test to look to see how efficient your body is at metabolizing sugar, right? So that would be a prudent thing for her to do. Or you can ask her, does she wake up in the middle of the night and she's wide awake? Like she'll wake up at 1, 2, 3, 4 a.m., she's wide awake. Or does she get really sleepy after she eats a meal? Now, if either one of these things are true, either she gets sleepy after she eats a meal, or she wakes up in the middle of the night, or both, then she doesn't need the blood test. She's got a blood sugar issue. And what she needs to do...
She's writing me right now. She says she has a glucometer. Her sugars are well within normal range, between 80 and 100 fasting, 100 and 120 non-fasting.
Why does she have a glucometer? That's what I want to know. I mean, does she have not everybody has a glucometer, so I'm only going to guess she has a glucometer because she has a pre-existing sugar condition, right?
Yeah.
The only people that have glucometers either have type 1 diabetes or they have type 2 diabetes. So you don't just have a glucometer just for kicks, right? So I'm going to assume that there's a blood sugar issue pre-existing. And if there's a blood sugar issue pre-existing, I don't care what the numbers say on the machine. Her sugars are too high if she's getting yeast infections, because that's what causes yeast infections. It's not the yeast. It's the environment of the body which gives the yeast room to grow. If it was the yeast, everybody would have a yeast infection because there's yeast in everybody's body. I mean, yeast is everywhere all the time. So what I would have her do is do 12 sweeties a day for 4 weeks, 12 sweeties a day for 4 weeks, and then 8 sweeties a day for 2 more months. 12 sweeties a day for 1 month, and then 8 sweeties a day for 2 more months. Also, when she gets a yeast infection, if she does root beer bellies, 3 root beer bellies a day, it'll help a great deal. Hey, what you're doing today should be talking to everyone in your life about this radio show, about longevity and showing people how to get their health back. I think Dawn has one more thing she needs to ask me about. Dawn, you're back. How can I help?
Syndrome. What do you recommend?
Tourette's? Was that Tourette's syndrome?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so Tourette's, right? And remember, we do foundation medical nutrition, right? It's not rocket science. So Tourette's would be a brain condition. So the first place to go is the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack and selenium. Remember, in my world, everybody gets selenium no matter what. So it's 1 Healthy Brain and Heart, 2 bottles of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And it's not a bad idea with this condition to support and promote the structure and function of the central nervous system to give 1 bottle of HGH Youth Complex per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and 1 bottle of plant minerals per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and a diet that's really high in cholesterol. And the last thing to do with any type of a behavioral abnormality with anybody, but especially with kids, because it's easy to see in kids, the next time the child has an outburst, a Tourette's outburst, look to see the very last thing they had to eat or drink. I don't care if it was a Tic Tac or a piece of gum. I don't care if it was a glass of whole unpasteurized milk. Write it down. Whatever it is that they had to eat or drink, immediately before, the very last thing, before they had the little Tourette's outbreak, right? And then just keep a running list. And by the third or the fourth time they wig out, or they space out if they have ADD, or if they get really, really hyper if they have ADHD, or if they get really, really angry, or if they have a Tourette's outburst, or if they space out into the ozone, whatever happens behaviorally that's outside of the norm, look to see the very last thing that they had to eat. And by the third or the fourth or the fifth time that they have an outbreak, there's going to be foods on those lists that are common to each other. And then you can see, well, son of a gun, they ate a carrot, and they ate a carrot, and they ate a carrot, and they ate a carrot. So identify the foods that are common to all of the lists and eliminate them from the child's diet. Eliminate them for 1 year. Don't, in addition to the 10 bad foods, eliminate these foods in addition, even if it's milk, cow's milk. So if it's cow's milk, got to switch to goat's milk or sheep's milk, right? We do it like that because there are foods which can aggravate the central nervous system and throw the kid into a tailspin, and it's a very, very easy thing to overlook because it's delayed. It's about 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes after they eat the food, all of a sudden they're all over the place or all under the place, whatever the case may be. Check that out, Don. Keep up the good work. You're doing a fantastic job in Florida.
One more question. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead real quick.
Okay. A friend has anemia. It's not sickle cell anemia, and the doctors want to do a blood transfusion.
Well, of course that's what they want to do because, remember, they don't care what causes it, and they don't really care how to fix it. They just want to manage it. So they want to give her blood every 4 weeks or every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks. It's nonsense.
Right.
So the first thing to do is to give her bones support because her red blood cells are made in the bone. They're made in the marrow of the bone. So often what we find with people who are anemic is the bones have lost the nutrients that they need to keep themselves healthy. And so instead of generating new bone marrow, they don't have the nutrients necessary to generate new bone marrow, so they put connective tissue in there instead, which squeezes the bone marrow out. Now you don't have as much bone marrow as you used to have, and so the red blood cells are funky. All right. So one of the first things to do in supporting and promoting the structure and function of the body in the face of anemia is to give the bone support. It's kind of counterintuitive, but that's what I would do first. So the recommendation would be the Healthy Start Pack, selenium, and glucogel, appropriate for body weight. And also I would give the Ultimate Daily Capsules and plant minerals. So there you go. Give that a shot, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods, and I would avoid anything that the MDs tell anybody to do unless, of course, you're bleeding to death. Thanks a lot, Don. Keep up the good work. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Let's see what Terry in Virginia is up to next. Hey, Terry, thanks for waiting. You are live.
Dr. Glidden.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother Tim, I've called you about him in the past.
Yeah.
He went to the ER last night.
Let me guess.
But he rode his bike to the ER.
He had a kidney stone, right?
They told me he had kidney stones and that he had a hernia.
Yeah. So he was passing a kidney stone and rode his bike to the ER?
Yeah.
He gets he should get an award. He should get a medal. He should get, a Congressional Medal of Honor. You know how painful passing a kidney stone is?
Well, that's what my brother Larry said. He said he used to have kidney stones and
now
on a baby.
Yeah, is the brother that passed the kidney stone, has he been on longevity stuff or not?
No, this was years ago. About 2 years ago.
Yeah. So the guy, who is it in your life that just passed the kidney stone?
My brother Tim.
And has he been on the longevity stuff?
Not yet.
All right. So from our point of view, which is the correct point of view, which is the opposite of the MD point of view, but they're wrong about most things, is that kidney stones are caused by chronic deficiencies in nutritional calcium. Now, your MD will tell you that it's because you have too much calcium, but the MD has his head so far up his backside he can't even see straight, and the MD's wrong. It's virtually impossible to put too much calcium inside the body. But it's really, 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 really easy to get not enough calcium. And when you don't have enough calcium, your thyroid gland secretes a little hormone that pulls calcium out of your bones. And invariably, this becomes a runaway train. So you get too much calcium in your bloodstream and too much calcium through your kidneys, and that jams the kidneys up, and you get a calcium oxalate stone or a calcium. You get a kidney stone. And it's caused by chronic deficiencies in calcium, and one of the leading causes of chronic deficiencies in calcium is too much soda pop. How much soda pop does this guy drink?
Tons.
Well, there you go. Now, from an armchair in Chicago, thousands of miles away from you, I was able to dial this in without seeing this guy, without having an office visit, without having any type of information. This is not to prop up my intellect. It's not to prop up my intellect. It's to underline the simple fact that healing is easy, that this stuff is relatively easy to figure out. It's easy to figure out when you have the proper perspective. Now, you know, I don't even want to know how much it costs this guy at the emergency room just to walk through the doors. It's $1,000. Just to walk through the doors, it's $1,000. For goodness sake. So look, you got to tell him that he's in trouble and this is going to get worse, that he needs nutrients, and he got a kidney stone because his body is starving for nutrients, and he needs to get his crap together or this is going to happen again, and it's only a matter of time until all the chickens come home to roost. And when all the chickens come home to roost, something really big is going to break, and he's going to be SOL. So, right, we need to have some tough love here, Terry. The recommendation is one healthy start pack, 2 bottles of selenium, and 1 bottle of liquid calcium, whichever one you like, the Beyond OsteoFX or the Cal Toddy. It's 1 healthy start pack, 2 bottles of selenium, and 1 extra bottle of liquid calcium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And the reason, and I would also give him 1 bottle of plant minerals per 100 pounds of body weight per month for the first 3 months. The reason that he's craving pop is because he's nutritionally deficient. He's craving pop because he's minerally deficient. When you put the minerals back in his body, the craving for pop will disappear, or it'll get really, 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 really low. It'll become much, much less of a problem. So whatever you can do for him, do it for him. He's either going to listen or not, but at least you've told him, so that if he doesn't listen and then the crap hits the fan a year from now, you are guilt-free, and all you can do is show up at his hospital bed and say, I told you so, you dumb so-and-so. You should have listened to me. I want you to put the fear of God in him however you can, Terry.
Well, can I record this and send it to him?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's being recorded now. It's recorded now. All you have to do is go into the podcast and send him a link to it. That's no problem.
He doesn't have a computer.
Well, then I don't know what you're going to do.
Well, I'm really scared for him, so, I got to do something.
Well, you got to do something. You got to do something.
Warn his landlord. He's like his dad, and warn Tim too, Just get him.
Well, one thing that you can do is invite him to my next webinar. Well, he doesn't have a computer. Just have him call me up on my next radio show. It's going to be a week from Monday. I'm going to be live again a week from Monday. That's right. I'm going on vacation all next week. Mike Phillips going to be standing in for me. Mike Phillips going to be standing in for me for a couple days next week. Very excited about that. Mike's a great backup radio host. I'm really excited to have him back on the air. But you can have your brother call me a week from Monday, and I'll put the fear of God in him, as God is my witness. Terry, I got a full board. I got a scoot. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving, Terry, and keep up the good work down there in Virginia. Right now, we've got 2 minutes and 33 seconds left in this section. Let's go to Abby, our old friend Abby from Florida, who just sent me an MRI about his mom. I got the MRI picture, Abby. Give the listening audience an overview of what's happening.
Okay, well, quickly, I called you a while ago, and you instructed me to do some testing to see if the pain was coming from misalignment on the spine and stuff like that. Well, I did it, and her spine is perfectly fine when it comes to alignment. And then my brother works at an MRI. He's a technician, so he did some MRIs. And searching, he discovered that white spot. And the doctor said that is liquid and inflammation. They cannot extract it with a syringe or anything like that. But the pain is really, really, she can barely move. And they don't know what to do. They have no idea.
All right. So there's an area of inflammation as discovered by an MRI in the middle of her back, right?
But it's in the fatty tissue. It's not. It doesn't have anything to do with the bones.
Yeah, okay, so I get that. So there's inflammation happening in the fatty tissue in the middle of her back. Now, I saw in the MRI there looked like a little indentation in the skin immediately above the site of the inflammation. Is there anything going on there?
No, that's because she's very fat. That's she was sitting down or something like that.
Oh, yeah, all right. Okay, all right. But it's interesting that should be happening right there. So what I'm going to recommend that you do is apply the CM cream liberally to the part of her back that she's feeling the pain in. Have you done that already?
Yeah, it doesn't work. Doesn't give her any relief.
All right, we're going to give her a homeopathic intervention here, and I'm going to have to explain it because it's somewhat complicated, but we're going to do an acute homeopathic intervention here when we come back. Stick around, Abby. Always a pleasure to hear from you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. This is November 22nd, 2013, and you're listening to Fire Your MD Now. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, finishing out the hour with Abiezar Amude, a.k.a. Abby. Abby and his wife, Donis, of course, are big longevity distributors in the Miami area and changing lives at a rapid rate. So, Abby, let me click the little button here. You still with me?
Yes.
All right. So there's a homeopathic medicine called silica, and you spell that S like Sam, I, L like Larry, I, C like Charlie, E-A. Silica. Now, sometimes they leave the E out, and it's just S-I-L-I-C-A, depending on who makes it. I want you to get one multi-dose tube of homeopathic silica in the 200C or 200 CK strength. You might be able to find that at Whole Foods. You might have to order it online. If you need to order it, there's a company called Homeopathy Overnight. Their number, 800-276-4223. When you get it, here's how I want you to give it to your mom. I want you to give her 2 pellets of the homeopathic silica orally first thing in the morning. 2 pellets of the homeopathic medicine orally first thing in the morning, and I want you to do that for 2 weeks in a row. I want you to get a little plastic bottle or a little glass bottle, and I want you to put, I want there to be room in the bottle for 10 ounces of liquid. Room in the bottle for 10 ounces of liquid. I want you to fill the bottle up with 8 ounces of distilled water. 8 ounces of distilled water. And then I want you to pop 2 of the pellets of homeopathic silica in the 8 ounces of water. Once the 2 pellets are in the 8 ounces of water, you put the top back on the bottle, you get a thick book like a Yellow Pages, and you pound the bottle with the water, with the pellets in it, 100 times. Bam, 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 bam. You can take a rest if you want to. 100 is called succussions. You pound it 100 times. Once you've pounded the bottle 100 times, you're ready to use it. Now, between doses of the liquid medicine, I want you to put the bottle with the liquid and the pellets that's been pounded in the refrigerator between doses. 3 times a day, I want you to take the bottle out of the refrigerator, pound it 10 times, open it up, and give your mother 1 teaspoonful of the liquid. Then you put the top back on, you put it back in the fridge. A couple hours later, you take it out, you pound it 10 times, and you give her a teaspoon. You give her 1 teaspoon of the liquid medicine 4 times a day and 2 pellets of the solid medicine once in the morning. I want you to do this for 14 days. If you get to the end of the liquid, instead of making a brand new bottle, when there's about a tablespoon left, an ounce left of the liquid in the original bottle, to that 1 ounce, you add 7 more ounces of distilled water. Don't put any more pellets in it. When there's an ounce left in that bottle, you add 7 more ounces of distilled water to bring it up to 8 ounces again. And when you put the distilled water in it the second time, you pound it again 100 times. And then you put it back in the fridge and it's ready to go. It sounds a lot more complicated than it is. But that's what I want you to do. I want you to give your mother homeopathic silica pellets, 200 C pellets once a day, in 4 liquid doses of it. And I want you to do that every day for 14 days. Now, you can give her the CM capsules orally. CM capsules orally 12 times a day. 4 with breakfast, 12, 4 with breakfast, 4 with lunch, 4 with dinner. In about 2 or 3 days, that will kick in and remarkably reduce the pain. In about 3 days, that will kick in and remarkably reduce the pain. The only other thing that you should add to her daily program is Cell Shield RTQ. Give her 9 Cell Shield RTQ a day. Give her 12 CM capsules a day and the homeopathic silica. Call me back a week from Monday with a report about what happened. Keep the faith. Thanks for the trust. And, there's got to be a way out of this. I'm pretty sure she's going to like the way that she feels when she gets on board with this program. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Dr. Glidden's going to be on vacation. I'll see you all back here, God willing, Cyber Monday, December 2nd. Until then, live long and prosper.